Hey guys, so I was going to write this out as an essay slash piece, but unfortunately I've completely busted my hand up with a scalpel whilst doing some modelling. Typing is not particularly enjoyable. I did a tweet on this the other day, and I kind of sat there mulling it over more and more. So I'll just talk about it. I was born in 1980. I grew up in Torquay in Devon. Torquay for most of my life was, a relatively sleepy but, not insignificant town. It was safe. You ran around the streets. It was clean. It was tidy. It was relatively homogenous in terms of race and culture. I mean, it was so homogenous that we had one of the friends of the family was Stan, who, as he was known around the town as Stan the Black Man, which is completely un-PC now, but Stan absolutely loved it as a title because he embraced it because he was a one of a kind and was particularly popular with the ladies apparently for it. And you compare that to now, and obviously the world has moved on. I'm not, the world always moves forward for positive or negative, but it's a very different country now. This isn't something that's obviously happened overnight. This has happened over decades, and this isn't just a conversation about immigration and social change. It's really not. We've covered that and everything else. I suppose for me, more than anything else, it's the comparison of the state then versus the state now. Growing up, I was always taught that, if you had a problem, go find a police officer. The police are, as a law-abiding citizen, the police is on your side. The state was something that was manageable, understandable, though obviously even then Leviathan. But it's become almost Kafkaesque, in terms of even the names of things now. The border force doesn't secure the border. It's a ferry service. The criminal justice system, it doesn't go after criminals. It seems to spend most of its time going after people who've barely said a word wrong, but it's just an easy win for them. The tax system punishes those who actually want to work hard and get on. The military is at that stage where it's so ran down it can't even defend anything, and even if it could defend anything, it would find itself in court because of the Human Rights Acts and various other bits and pieces. The police that we've just talked about, I listen to the Black Belt Barrister on YouTube, exactly what to do if the police turn up at your house because of something you've said on social media. Do you know what that feels like for me? Someone who, as I said, who grew up in a household that was law-abiding, and you were always told by, we were always told by my mother, the police are on your side. You've got problems, guys. What to do? Don't let them in your house. It's and more and more. I went over to, I said previous video, I went over to Epsom to meet a friend, and like 7:30 at night, you're getting parking tickets. Trying to spend money in your town. It's half run down like the rest of the country, and you'll give me a parking ticket. Why? Because you can. It's ludicrous. It's become, as I said, it's become basically Kafkaesque. It's not. It makes no sense. It's not designed in such a way to be something that's understandable, and that seems to have got worse, not better, and it's getting worse and not better. And this isn't, like I said, this isn't something that happened overnight. This has been layers and layers built on top of it going back years. And it's to a certain extent, it is a function of the Blairite state that put your rights before responsibilities, that put actual process before outcomes, which is something that's happened now more and more. You see, is just, you saw it even, I think it was earlier on today, Mahmood saying she couldn't sack the chief constable of West Midlands Police over the Aston Villa Israeli game. Why not? Because of the process. You're the Home Secretary. You can do what you like. Change the rules. Oh, we can't because of the rules. So even though the rules are allegedly giving you an outcome you don't like. Rather than changing the rules, you'll adhere to the rules and give the wrong outcome. And you see this across the whole state now. Again and again, you're seeing it. It's just a mindless obedience to rules that clearly have completely broken down, don't make any sense, and yet, the political class just keep going at it regardless. And I think because, and again, it happened earlier on, you've had Liz Kendall in Parliament standing up talking about this, the AI image replacement moral scandal that everyone's worrying on about at the moment. Clearly an effort just to get Musk, by the way, but that's a side point. Oh, we're going to change the law to make it illegal to do these images. It's already illegal. But it's all about demonstrating a process, not the actual outcome. It's about the process. The process is the important thing. It's to demonstrate they're doing something. So we get another worthless law on the books that do nothing, that's not already there. The Parliament that should be doing any number of things helpful, instead is going to waste its time on this crap. And we continue. You more and more, I feel more and more like I live in a country where the British state is something foreign to me. It's like we are occupied by it. And the denizens and the workers of the state are an occupying force. They're not there to serve me as a citizen. They're there to get me to enrich the state and those who work within the state. Though in this case, half the time, they're not even enriched by it. It's just this completely odd system where, again, the process drives it. But like I said, you don't look towards... I don't look at the state now with any kind of respect. I don't look at the people who work within the state with any real respect. Predominantly because the outcomes it produces are just so appalling. Why would you? I mean, and when I say the state, I suppose it's the state plus the overall apparatus that surrounds it. I mean, if you... Let's run through over the last 10 years or so what we've gone through, call it 20 years, what we've gone through. What? Journalists? Nope. They've had enough scandals. The police force? Not really. The military is now so degraded it's about anything. Politicians are loathed. Civil servants are mocked. There isn't really much left. And it's because the outcomes are so appalling for the public. And because time and time again, what you see is you see outcomes that are appalling, and then you see the state just cover it all up because it's the process that matters to the state now. And that's basically a failure of the political class to actually govern. I'm not alone like this. I'm sure people don't take it as dramatically as I'm putting it. I feel like an occupied state. It's obviously, to a certain extent, it's artistic license, but it's not. In a lot of ways, I don't feel like this state represents me. I don't feel like I have any control over the state. I don't feel like my needs and wishes are catered for or of any concern to the people who sit at it. I observe Westminster and all of the other, the joke parliaments that Westminster have created across these aisles, and I cringe. I cringe at the politics and the debate that takes place in them. I absolutely am appalled by 90% of the journalism that takes place around them, which, by the way, explains to a certain extent why the rest of it's a complete farce. And like I said, this hasn't happened quickly, but I've suddenly noticed it. It's like, like in the films where, I don't know, there's like a horror film or something, and you suddenly walk up, you see the character tap another character on their shoulder, and their friend on the shoulder, and they turn around, and it's their friend, but they've been possessed. Still recognisable in some shape or form, but like, awful and unpleasant, and they just stand there shocked. That's what I feel like with the British state now. That's what I feel like. It is still my country. It still has all the trimmings and trappings of being Britain, but in no way is it recognisable in terms of structure, outcomes, and actually how I feel about it. I feel a foreigner in my own country. And I do, before people agree or don't agree, this is not actually an attack laying the blame of this on Labour. Labour and Starmer are the end agents of this horrific system, but they are just the end, the end point. This is a process that's been ongoing for 20 odd years, and they just happen to be at the bit where you suddenly notice it the most. And yes, they've made it a lot worse. Let's not deny about that one. I don't know. It's very, very tough, and I'm not alone. And yes, the economy makes it worse. Yes, it's bad everywhere. I know this better than most people. I travel a lot, and every other country's got a lot of these problems, nearly all the same problems. But it is upsetting for me because this is my country. And my country is the one that I'm personally impacted by and everything else. So we'll see. And that's my cat coming in. That's my cat going out, bless her cotton socks. We'll see. I hope. Actually, no. I know that change is coming. You can see it. This entire facade of this horrific, shambolic joke of an authoritarian state, or a state with authoritarian tendencies, is now starting to crack, and it's going to fall off. It's already starting to crumble and fall off. So change is coming. But good God, is it taking its time? And my God, particularly in January, when you've got a busted up finger and you're just looking at Parliament and actually screaming at the television, do you just wish it would come along sooner? Anyway, that's my rambling take on it. I hope everyone's well. I'll speak soon. Bye-bye.